Pain doesn't break you all at once. It builds quietly, in small moments, in careless words, in heavy silences. At first, you ignore it. You tell yourself it's normal. So you smile. You stay quiet. You say, it's nothing. But it doesn't go away. It grows. Until one day, you hit your limit. And something inside you shifts. Not loudly, just permanently. And you're never quite the same again. Level 1. The beginning you didn't notice. It doesn't happen suddenly. You don't decide to become quiet. You just start adjusting, talking a little less, waiting a little longer before you speak, letting people interrupt, and not trying to take the moment back, because somehow it feels easier to stay quiet than to fight to be heard. So you listen more. You nod. You stay present, but a little further away each time. And slowly, silence becomes familiar. Not comforting, just expected. Until one day, you realize you've been quiet for a long time, and no one noticed, not even you.
Level 2. The weight starts to form. Now you start seeing things differently. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You begin noticing patterns, who people prioritize, who gets attention, who gets heard, and where you stand in all of it. It's subtle, but clear. You're not the first choice, not the second either. Sometimes not even considered. And that realization, it doesn't hit all at once. It builds. Every time someone ignores your message, every time plans happen without you, every time you're present but not included. At night, your mind doesn't stay quiet anymore. You start replaying moments, analyzing them, overthinking things you used to ignore. Did I say something wrong? Did I do something? Or am I just not enough? That question sticks. And the worst part? There's no answer, just silence. And that silence starts getting louder.
Level 3. The breaking point. Everyone has a limit. You just didn't know yours yet. Until one day, something small happens. Something that shouldn't matter. Maybe someone forgets you. Again. Or dismisses you. Again. Or replaces you without even noticing. And usually, you'd ignore it, like always. But this time, you can't. Because it's not just this moment, it's everything. All the times you stayed quiet, all the times you let it go, all the times you said it didn't matter. Now it does. You feel it, that weight you've been carrying finally reaching the surface. But instead of breaking, you go quiet, completely. And in that silence, something shifts. You stop expecting, stop hoping. Because deep down, you finally understand. No one is coming to fix this for you. Level 4. The silence that changes you. You stop reacting. That's the first thing people notice. Not all at once, but slowly. You don't laugh as much. You don't jump into conversations. You don't explain yourself. You just observe. At first, they think you're tired, then maybe in a bad mood, and eventually, they stop noticing at all. Because people adjust. They move on. And that's when it hits you. Not painfully, but clearly. Your presence wasn't as important as you thought. And strangely, it doesn't hurt anymore. It frees you. So you stop trying, stop performing, stop forcing yourself into spaces that never made room for you. And in that quiet, you start hearing something else. Your own thoughts. Clearer, more honest. And for the first time, you don't avoid them. Level 5. The decision. Pain used to control you. Now you study it. You sit with it. You replay it. Not to suffer, but to understand. Every moment that hurt you, you break it down. What happened? Why it happened? What you felt? What you ignored? And slowly, patterns become clear. It was never just them. It was also you. The way you stayed silent. The way you tolerated things you shouldn't have. The way you waited for people to treat you better instead of becoming someone who wouldn't accept less. That realization, it's uncomfortable, but it's powerful. Because now you have control. And that's when you make the decision. Not emotional, not dramatic, just final. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do with it? And that question changes everything. Level 6, the rebuild. You don't announce your change. You don't post about it. You don't tell anyone, because this isn't for them. This is personal. You start small. Wake up earlier, not because you have to, but because you want control over your time. You fix your routine, cut distractions, limit conversations that drain you. You start saying no, quietly, without explanation. And at first, it feels strange, unnatural, like you're becoming someone else. But you're not. You're becoming someone you should have been all along. Every time you feel that old pain, you don't escape it. You use it. You turn it into action, into discipline, into focus. And slowly, you start noticing something. You're not as affected anymore. Things that used to break you barely move you now. Level 7. The shift others can see. Now, people notice. Not because you said anything, but because you didn't. You don't chase conversations. You don't seek validation. You don't react the way you used to. And that makes people uncomfortable. Because they don't understand you anymore. They try to figure you out. Some try to reconnect. Others keep their distance. But you don't respond the same way because your focus changed. You're not trying to be liked anymore. You're trying to become better, stronger, more controlled. And that difference, it shows. In the way you walk, in the way you speak, in the way you look at things. There's something about you now. Something quiet, but undeniable. Level 8. The distance. Growth creates distance. Not just from people, but from your past. You look at old versions of yourself, and they feel unfamiliar, too reactive, too emotional, too dependent on things that never mattered. And you realize something. You had to go through that. All of it. The silence, the pain, the confusion. Because without it, you wouldn't have changed. But that doesn't mean you stay there. So, you let it go. Not angrily, not dramatically, just completely. And with that, you step fully into who you're becoming. Level 9. The control. Now you understand it. Pain, not as something to avoid, but as something to use. It doesn't control your emotions anymore. It fuels your actions. You don't react instantly. You pause, you think, you choose. And that control, it's powerful. Because most people don't have it. They act on impulse, on emotion, on temporary feelings. But you don't, not anymore. You've built something stronger, a mindset that doesn't break easily, a presence that doesn't need approval, a focus that doesn't get distracted. And now, you're not just different, you're ahead. Level 10. The new version of you. You look back one last time, not at people, not at situations, at yourself. The version that stayed quiet, that tolerated everything, that waited for things to change. And for the first time, you don't feel anger. You don't feel regret.
You feel understanding, because that version of you was necessary. Without that pain, you wouldn't have built this mindset, this control, this strength. You didn't escape pain, you transformed it, turned it into something useful, something powerful, something permanent. And now, you don't fear it anymore, because you know the truth. Pain doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. And now the real question is, what are you going to do with yours? Let it break you, or turn it into something no one can take from you?